I would say that's a flawed question. If you're looking for a trick, then you're trying to achieve the wrong thing. It's good to want to sound musical when you're playing many notes, but the only way to do that is to put the music first and only care about the value of the notes. The speed is a distraction. If you put speed first, then of course the incentive is just to find a trick and then rehearse it and see how fast you can do it, but that's not music. As long as you care about making music when you're playing, you should be able to make musical sense at any speed. If I knew what the guitar music of the future was going to sound like, I would be doing it. But I think there will always be a home for guitar. When I was a kid, in the late 70s, I would go into music shops and try out all the guitars, and the older people who worked in the music shop would say, it's such a shame, this kid kind of got good at guitar, but it's all about keyboards now, he's wasted his youth. And then Van Halen happens, and the 80s happen, and there's guitar everywhere. So I think at any point in history it would have been easy to say, guitar is doomed, it's all over, but it never happens. Someone will come along and inject new life into the instrument, and I don't think it's going anywhere. Especially now, the internet has really democratized how people can find music they like, and niche forms of music can survive because there can be a community all across the globe who can find each other without the need for a record company to teach them about the existence of this stuff. So when I look at what's in the charts, yeah, there's a lot of shit in the charts. Of course there is, but it's not the enemy. That music is for other people. That music is for people who don't really care about music that much. They just want some wallpaper in their lives. That's how I see it. And to some extent, I think chart music is more like cabaret rather than art. It's all about packaging someone and like selling you a look and a fashion statement and a song that you've heard before. And that's what people like, I think. Well, I think everyone becomes the guitar player that they deserve to be. And what you get good at is a product of what you spend all your time working on. So if you sit there just doing exercises and practicing scales and like hanging out with your metronome, you will not get better at improvising. The way to get better at improvising is just to do it. I have this hippie theory that music is a language. And for me, I want it to feel like the language I learned when I was a baby. I don't want it to feel like a language that I learned at college or school. So you just have to do it. That's how we learn to talk. You just copy the sounds of everything around you, and then you learn what result you get for each one of these sounds that you've copied. And gradually you kind of put everything together and it becomes a language that you don't have to think about on a conscious level. You're just using it to express whatever you want to convey. So yeah, if you want to get better at improvising, improvise. I don't think there is one answer to that question. I think everyone's brain works differently. Everyone experiences music through a kind of personal filter. So whatever works. I think it's good to be aware of every possible approach and then just try them all and see what feels right for you. And then even if you find one particular approach that feels like I'm getting results with this, one day you might feel stuck in a rut. And if you're aware of other approaches, you never need to run out of ideas. I hope so. We would all like to, because this is possibly the craziest audience in the world. Just the sheer amount of kind of fanatic passion that you get from a crowd here is insane, and we had such a great time on our last visit. So we'll see. We're still putting together how this world tour will unfold. So for the rest of this year, it'll be the US and Europe. I have a little break in the middle where I have to do some things with Hans Zimmer, so maybe next year. I can't remember exactly how long I've been a D'Addario guy. It was a slow, gradual crossfade from what I was using before. It's a funny thing. D'Addario is what I used to buy when I was a teenager. So these strings and me, we go back a long way. But the thing that really swung me and woke me up was meeting the NYXL strings and thinking, someone gave me a set to try out, and I thought, why aren't these wearing out? Why aren't they getting old? Why can't I break them? this is a good thing. So the only real tragedy now is I don't get to change strings as often. I actually quite enjoy the ritual of changing strings, and it's not as necessary now. I particularly like going to hot, sweaty, tropical climates like India, and if a set of strings can survive a whole gig in that kind of heat and humidity, then it's doing something right. So yeah, they work for me. You don't have to stretch them as much. The intonation is great. Noble viewers, just to check a set out. Maybe they'll work for you, maybe they won't. They certainly work for me, that's all I can say. Greetings, this is Guthrie Govan here, your furry friend from the UK, just saying a big thank you to TMPLAY, check it out, and Daddario Strings for all of your help in making this happen. Verily, you rock.